the Tigers. We'll see how Auburn responds as they come up for the first time here in Tallahassee. And already we have time requested by the catcher, Ashley Griffin. You can anticipate. It's the postseason. It's the NCAA Regional. There's going to be some nerves working through the early stages here. Perry comes in, 285 batting average, leads the team in runs scored, total bases. He's had an outstanding senior year. Puts that in play in the center field, and just like that, Auburn has a leadoff base hit from McCrary.
McCrary really brings that tone to the top of the lineup. She is feisty, and she can fight off a lot of pitches. And this time, it's a screwball on the inner half. It's her hands inside. Doesn't try to lift the ball. It's a low pitch. She hits it right back where it was pitched. And we saw a lot of fireworks from Central Florida in the first inning. Here comes Auburn right back.
Michaela Packer up there hacking at the first pitch and fouls it off. Chattanooga native. There is a team from Chattanooga here playing the second game of the day. University of Tennessee, Chattanooga facing the host Florida State. Packer shortens up and takes a ball inside.
Well, no surprise to see Packer go to the short game. This is an Auburn team that has struggled offensively all season long. They have really had to rely on their speed, on their short game, pass the bat, move base to base. Not a real power hitting team.
A 249 team batting average on the season for Auburn. You compare that just to their opponent here today, UCF, 306 team batting average. Very patient Michaela Packer. Sees the count on her favor now at 3 balls and a strike.
Well, both of these teams come in very battle-tested. UCF in their first year in the Big 12. And we know the types of teams they've been facing all season long. Some of the top teams in the country. Auburn battling in the SEC every day.
Sliding catch. Shannon Doherty, a check swing by Packer. Floated over near the coach's box in foul ground, and Doherty able to make the play to get the first out.
And that's what makes this UCF team so complete. We've seen that what they can do on the offensive side of the ball. And here, Doherty times her dive perfectly, comes up with the big out. Any out you can get in a regional is a valuable out, especially at the top of the lineup here for the Tigers.
This is Tresvik offering it the first pitch from Caitlin Felton. Four homers you see for Isis. 2 of those came in one game. She had a 2-homer game at Ole Miss in late April. Keep in mind, Auburn's last game was the only game they played in the SEC tournament that they hosted, losing in 14 innings. A heartbreaker to LSU.
I'm really surprised we haven't seen McCrary in motion. We just talked about a little earlier. Auburn's strength is their speed. They like to put runners in motion, create some havoc, and McCrary is one of those base stealers for the Auburn Tigers.
Foul back. I think I said LSU. Georgia was the 14-inning game. A marathon nonetheless, and when we asked KK McCurry about that, who hit a big 3-run home run in the top of the 14th to give Auburn the lead, then to lose that game, she's like, yeah, it was crushing when we got off the field, but afterwards we realized what a special game it was, even though we didn't win it on our home field.
I mean, they played 14 innings. That's 2 games. And it was such an emotional game. I happened to see the last believe it was last 3 or 4 innings of that game, and the emotional swings of that game, you know, the multiple run home runs, and it went back and forth, and Georgia hitting the last big blast.
That'll sail out of play. Leadoff base hit by McCrary. Tresvik batting with 1 out. A 2-run top of the first for UCF. Chloe Evans an RBI double, and she would score on a Jasmine Williams base hit off of Maddie Pinta.
A really good at-bat here from Tresvik. Got down quickly, 0-2. Some very marginal pitches on the corner. She was really thought she might have had a chance to get ahead. Did not, and has now worked the count back full.
He pitch of the at-bat, and she'll see a 9th, and that one a painful foul ball off her foot. This is trying to walk that one off if she can.
I mean, and those things, Mark, they last like months. It's not like next day it goes away. I mean, anybody who's played softball knows you get one on the shin, whether you're pitching or hitting, self-inflicted. They're just, they sting for quite a while.
Out of the center field, ranging to her left, Ray makes the catch. Samantha Ray. What a bat for Tresvik. It does result in a long fly ball to center field. You can still see her hobbling as she's making her way back to the Tiger dugout.
Well, in that time, we did see McCrary in motion, and I expect to see a lot of that today from Auburn. As we mentioned earlier, this is a team that has struggled offensively to put big innings together, big power numbers together, and I look for them to continue to run at every opportunity.
Here's a cleanup hitter, the DP, Amelia Leck. An outstanding first year for her with the Tigers after transferring from Maryland. Well, Leck has not hit for an extremely high average, 233, but she does have a dozen homers, 36 RBIs, tops on the Auburn team, so she has been a big part of that offense.
And she really is the true power threat in this lineup. And what a great offering there from Felton. The off-speed pitch. It's probably the best pitch to really deter those power hitters. Really throws the balance off.
Caitlin Felton lets out a scream as she gets her first strikeout, fanning Leck to win the inning, and she works around it. Presented by Capital One. A little bit of a different look for Coach Paul Malone's team, and does have Sona Halajian in that 3-hole.
Halajian has been on fire. Look what she's done in her last 17 games. The power numbers, she has elevated to the 3 spot in the lineup because of that performance.
Ashley Griffin waiting to lead off. 20-plus pitches in that first inning for Maddie Pinta. Gave up the 2 early runs.
And Maddie Pinta, you're looking at one of the best pitchers in the country. Leads the SEC in strikeouts. Pure power. Comes at you hot, 70 miles an hour plus with all of her pitches. Can really stretch the zone. Has added the down pitch, added the changeup this season. And she really has the ability to dominate the game. We did not see that in the first inning. Central Florida came out swinging. Penta's ball a little bit flat, not as much movement as we typically see from Penta. Look for her to settle in here in the second inning.
Bottom 3 in the order up for the Knights. Ashley Griffin, the catcher, leads off for UCF. First pitch strike from Pinta. She has thrown a first pitch strike to 7, I should say to 6 of the first 7 Knights hitters she has faced so far today. Some of the numbers for Griffin, including 5 home runs. She homered in all 3 games of their series at Houston. Had 6 hits in that series. She was the first player in program history to win a Big 12 Player of the Year on April 10th. We asked the players and Coach Paul Malone about the move to the Big 12. And obviously a move that the school is very happy with, very proud of. And except for those top handful of schools above them in the Big 12, they represented very well in their first year in softball.
You look at a lot of how they performed throughout the season. And, of course, you have Texas, the #1 team in the country, Oklahoma, #2, Oklahoma State, the 5 seed in the NCAA Regional. And yet who's next right behind all those 3 top 10 teams? It's UCF in a lot of categories, be it offense, be it pitching. Coach Paul Malone's really done a fantastic job in her first season in the Big 12.
Who wants that? The shortstop does. It's Nelia Peralta that makes the catch for the first out. Look at the NCAA softball regionals here in Tallahassee. Game 1 today. Second game coming up. The host team, Florida State, taking on the Chattanooga Mocs, the regular season and tournament champions in the Southern Conference.
And this bracket, we're so excited about this regional. I mean, this is the 4th toughest regional in terms of average RPI. And so which team is going to advance to super regionals? It is really anybody's game. The championship to move on and punch your ticket is up for grabs.
Samantha Ray getting the start in center field for UCF. One ball, one strike count on the California native from Salinas out of Notre Dame High School. True freshman. It's a misses away. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, both of these teams come into the game, 2 of the best defensive teams in the country. UCF in the top 10, Auburn in the top 20 in terms of defensive fielding percentage. So you've got to get creative with how to put the ball in play, how to score runs, especially when you're facing a Maddie Penta. And for today, Coach Paul Malone turns to Ray. Not a typical everyday starter in the outfield, but she is a short game specialist, really looking to put the ball in play and make some things happen.
Well, Auburn defense been very good. 7th in the nation. Fewest errors, #1 in the SEC. Really, both these teams very solid defensively. And Penn is able to come back and strike out Ray for the second out. First out for a strikeout of the game for Penta.
Well, and this is what we're used to seeing from Maddie Penta. Over 900 strikeouts now in her career. This ball is breaking down and away, so it has a 2-plane break. And Samantha Ray goes down swinging.
Base is empty for Aubrey Evans, who looks at a first pitch strike from Penta. UCF second baseman.
Well, you talked a lot about Penta and her ability to throw first pitch strikes, and that is a philosophy of this Auburn pitching staff. Head coach Mickey Dean, the pitching coach. I mean, Auburn is #3 out of all the teams in the regionals, all 64 teams, in terms of throwing that first pitch strike. And we've seen that from Penta so far today.
You know, when we chatted with Maddie Penta yesterday, I mentioned the fact, hey, a year ago, you were the SEC Pitcher of the Year for 2023. Second team All-SEC this year. How did that weigh on her? And she confessed, she said, hey, early in the season, I was trying to live up to that SEC Pitcher of the Year award.
And it's a funny thing, expectation. It can feel like you're playing with a weighted vest. And there you get a look at what she's been able to do throughout her career. And there's no doubt when you come into a season with expectations, it can be a heavy load to bear.
Right in on the hands of Evans and out towards short and backing up onto the outfield grass. Nelia Peralta makes the catch. So a much quicker inning there for Maddie Penta, who sets him down in order. Well, Mickey Dean's team finished 10th out of the 13 teams in the SEC. All 13 teams in the SEC made it to the NCAA tournament. Lost in the first round of their tournament that they were hosting on the Plains to Georgia, 6-5 in 14 innings. But you're looking at RPI. I mean, a lot of that's playing in the SEC. Very impressive RPI. They got him here as the 2 seed here in Tallahassee.
They are a battle-tested team. Do not let that record fool you. This is a team that has played the second toughest schedule in terms of strength of schedule in the nation, only second to LSU. So every day, day in, day out, they are used to this regional atmosphere. They are used to playing some of the top teams in the country.
Only LSU with a higher, lower, whichever way you look at it, RPI in the nation. Anna Wohlers starting things off, the catcher for the Tigers. The Paul transfer, spent 2 seasons there. And a very nice first season for her at Auburn. In fact, you saw her average coming in at .302. That leads the team in batting average.
And she has really excelled in the last 2 weeks of the season. Just really finding her groove, finding her rhythm, swinging at good pitches. And she's provided a lot of power for this Tigers lineup that's really been void of power.
And she hit a dozen home runs last year with DePaul. Was first team All Big East, unanimous selection. 5 homers this season. Mickey Dean, season 7. Talk more about his future as the weekend goes on. Having said he will retire at the end of the season. That's rolled out slowly to second base. Aubrey Evans getting Wohlers for the first out. Well, the NCAA Women's College World Series begins Thursday, May 30th, and for the 23rd straight year, every game on ESPN. The championship finals begin Wednesday, June 5th from Oklahoma City. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships on the road to Oklahoma City, and the Women's College World Series really beginning today, Carol, for 64 teams.
When we got to the ballpark today, you and I were talking a little bit about it. It just feels different. I had the pleasure of coaching in a lot of NCAA regionals, sometimes the host team, some as the road team, and it does feel different. The excitement is heightened because what's at stake is so valuable. And every game matters. It's so important to win that first game in the regional, really sets you up for success throughout the entire event. And a big moment for both of these teams.
Well, it's deja vu all over again for UCF as we're right back here in Tallahassee. They were here in the Tallahassee Regional in 2023, beat South Carolina in the first game 6-1, but then lost to Florida State 5-1, and then played South Carolina again, lost 10-1, and that's what ended the ninth season a year ago here. Milanowski hits one to the alley in right center field. That's going to bounce towards the fence all the way to the wall. And Milanowski in with a slide, her third two-base hit of the season, a one-out double.
Well, good at bat from Milanowski. This is a curveball on the outer half of the plate. Ball spinning away from her. She is patient, lets it get deep, keeps her barrel on plane, and shows you the power she has to drive it all the way to the wall. This is what Auburn needs. A runner in scoring position early.
Milanowski making her 8th start. All 8 of those starts have come since April 14th at LSU when she got her first. And if Auburn can find a hot bat, they need to find those hot bats this time of year. And really, Milanowski has been one. That last regular season series for Auburn at Alabama, she went 5 for 9 with a couple of doubles in that series.
And it's a whole new season in the postseason. Everyone, all 64 teams, the records, you can throw them out the door. It's 0-0. You come in, you use that experience, and you make every at-bat count. We talked about it earlier. This is an Auburn team that is not going to shy away from anyone. They have played a very difficult schedule. and they feel very comfortable in this environment.
Annabelle Widra shoots that one foul. Birmingham area native, Widra from Hoover. Played her true freshman year at Michigan. Now in her second season with Auburn. To left field, Stormy Kotzelnick. 2 down. Well, staying at second, Milanowski now with 2 outs. Second baseman Rose Roach, number 99. If Auburn can find some production, especially towards the bottom of the order this weekend, Carol, that would give them a much better chance to come out of here and head to Supers.
And that is so true of any team in the postseason. That bottom of the order, you're really looking for them to produce, make some things happen, but no team needs it more than Auburn. And this is a team that has struggled to score runs all season long. They find themselves with a runner in scoring position, and that's something that has been elusive for them this season, that clutch hit, that 2-out hit.
Wide secondary lead there by Milanowski, and caught the attention of the catcher, Griffin.
Well, if I'm Central Florida here, I'm really going to bring my outfield in a little more. I want to play where I can throw the runner out at second. Roach does not have an extra base hit on the season. And sometimes you can get caught with 2 outs playing a little bit too deep. And each outfielder needs to know their arm strength and the depth they can play, that if the ball does get through the infield, they can come up and throw out the runner at second base. But in playing the odds here, the fact that Roach just does not have that extra base power, you can take away the singles.
Down the left field side, just foul. Diving attempt by Kotzelnick. And Rose Roach almost had her first extra base hit of the season.
Just going to say, and there it is. She really strong barrel to the ball, and you can see the ball is tailing toward the line. Any ball toward the line is going to continue toward the line. Great effort out there by Kotzelnick as she leaves her feet.
He almost got a glove on that. 2-2 count. Milanowski at second and 2 outs in the Auburn second. Another one from Caitlin Felton. Busted her inside, and it goes full.
I love that pitch from Felton. Really tried to tuck it in on the inner half of the plate. She'd been working away, and that really set up that pitch. It did miss inside, but I love the call from Coach Ball Malone, who does call the pitches in the dugout.
3-2 guided into left for a base hit. Here comes Milanowski. She'll score a collision, and into second with a slide is Roach. And there's her first extra base hit. Kotzelnick and Ray collided, but Kotzelnick was able to keep her feet and get the ball back in. It's a clean double for Roach in her 8th RBI.
And there's that clutch 2-out RBI from the bottom of the order that Auburn has been looking for. Felton goes outside again, and this time Roach is ready for it. Takes the ball the opposite direction. That is a huge run from Auburn as they score in the bottom of their lineup.
That was Ray, the center fielder, actually got to it. Knocked Kotzelnick off her feet, but nonetheless, that elusive extra base hit for Rose Roach. She almost had one earlier in the sequence, and she does come away with it there. Peralta takes a strike. Malia Peralta, now in her junior year, was second team All-SEC last season, hit .329 with 9 homers a year ago. Cindy Ball Malone, coach for the Knights, wants to come out and talk to her infield, and in particular the battery.
Well, I'm sure the conversation here is the bottom of the Auburn order has really struggled this season. I mean, these are hitters not hitting over 250 with a lot of at-bats on the season. I'm sure this conversation to her pitcher, Felton, is let's attack the zone. Let's go right at Peralta. The last thing that Central Florida wants to do is prolong this inning, turn the lineup over.
Felton ready to go back to work. UCF scored 2 in the first. Auburn's gotten 1 back. Let's see if that's going to get out of play, and it will. Florida native Nelia Peralta, who's from Wellington, Florida, back in her home state. That's up the middle, out of reach of the second baseman Evans, and here comes another run. Rhodes scores. And the bottom of the order, at least the first time through for Auburn, has come through and tied the game at 2.
Well, 3 of the last 4 hitters for Auburn have worked into hitters' counts, and it has paid off for them. This pitch down in the zone. Peralta gets her barrel to the contact point, has just enough on it, and with 2 outs, there is no stop sign from assistant coach Eugene Lenti over there in the third base box, and we've got a tie ball game.
So it all started with Milanowski's 1-out double, and then Rose Roach's 2-out double. By the way, Rose Roach was 1 for her last 36 prior to that RBI double to produce Auburn's first run, and now Peralta's 25th RBI of the year has tied it. The lineup turns over back to the top for McCrary. Got to be a big sigh of relief for Rose Roach. You get into the most important time of the year, first time up in the regional. Big RBI double.
And gives you so much confidence in your next at-bat. I mean, the first time through the batting order here, Auburn has 4 hits. And that is not something that has been said, throughout the season that much. It's usually some quicker innings for Auburn, but they are able to really string some hits together in this inning, scoring 2 runs with 2 outs. It's a good sign for the Auburn offense.
McCrary has one of those hits. She fights this off and drops that into left field. Her second hit already in the game, and 4th hit of the inning for the Tigers. And McCrary keeps the inning going.
Well, good things are happening right now for Auburn. Just swinging the bat. They're being rewarded for being aggressive in the zone. And Coach Ball Malone has a very, very deep pitching staff. This is her second conference of the inning, so we will indeed see a pitching change.
Let's see who we'll see for UCF. We anticipated possibly Sarah Willis getting the start in this game. She did not, and she will not be the first out of the bullpen today for the Knights. So with the Caitlin Felton, 47 pitches facing 10 hitters. And now she gives way to another Caitlin. This time it's Caitlin Cochran now in the circle for UCF.
And Caitlin Cochran really has got the nod late in the season. Doesn't have a lot of innings pitched on the season, but the majority of those innings have been in the last 3 weeks of the season. Gets a lot of fly ball outs, really spins the ball up in the zone, and this is just a change of tempo. I mean, Felton was not hit that hard by Auburn, but they could not retire any batters, so this is a tempo change for UCF.
Kayla Packer fouled out to the first baseman Shannon Doherty an inning ago and offers it the first one from Cochran. Last time Caitlin Cochran pitched May 4th at Iowa State. Drew a scoreless inning with a couple of strikeouts, a couple of saves on the season for her.
Well, there's not that many teams that are really preparing for Cochran. I mean, she does not have a lot of innings pitched on the season, but her performances late have really earned her more opportunities in the circle. She could really be a difference maker for Central Florida as they march through this regional.
Cochran gets ahead of Packer. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Auburn has scored twice so far, all with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. After the Knights opened the game with 2 in the top of the first, but Auburn has rallied. UCF has gone to their bullpen with Cochran. We'll see how this inning plays out, Carol. But if you're Auburn's starting pitcher, Maddie Pinta, with her credentials, maybe her mind changes. Her mindset changes a little bit here, like, okay, my offense got those runs back.
100%. Penta much more sharper in the second inning than she was in the first inning when she gave up 2 runs on the big hits. I look to see it continued. Just fired up, Maddie Penta. I mean, this is, again, an Auburn team. Penta's had to throw a lot of innings this season because the score has been held down. Her offense hasn't scored a lot of runs, so sometimes it's been 0-0 for 11 innings, 12 innings. Sometimes it's been 1-1. And to see her team jump out here in the second inning, get 2 runs back, it's got to be a huge lift for the senior.
As she threw the first 9 innings of that 14-inning game in the SEC tournament against Georgia. Peralta has a big hit in this inning, an RBI single. Couple runners aboard for Packer. 3 consecutive 2-out hits for Auburn off the starter Felton, and now Cochran trying to close the door in the inning, and she does so with a strikeout. So Cochran comes out of the pen. Fans Packer.
No. I mean, yeah, a little bit. I can hear myself. I can't hear you, though. I can't hear Mark through the headset.
So things underway from Tallahassee here in this matchup between the 2 seed here in Tallahassee, Auburn, the 3 seed UCF, tied at 2. We had an RBI double from Chloe Evans, RBI base hit by Jasmine Williams. 2 early runs off Maddie Pinta, but her offense just came back with 2 runs, all with 2 outs in the second. And we are tied at 2 as we go to the top of the 3rd inning.
That pitch right there you saw from Maddie Penta up in the zone. When she first came in as a freshman, really just threw hard, was a little wild, had a good fastball, but that was about it. And now she's really developed that true rise ball. You see it again, back-to-back pitches against Jada Cody, one of the best hitters in the UCF lineup. And she also can work the ball down in the zone and has developed a changeup. So it's been really fun to watch Maddie Penta, who really hit the ground running as an Auburn Tiger, just get better every year.
.41 pitches so far for Penta. Auburn Tigers finished 10th out of the 13 teams in the SEC. Or with the second best RPI in the nation. Brody, a base hit to left first time up. That was a base hit that started the game for UCF. She did get a piece of that foul ball.
Can't say enough about Jada Cody and the career she's had at UCF. One of the most decorated players to ever play. You see what she's done the last 8 games. Has been on a tear. And finding a leadoff batter has been tough for Cindy Ball Malone. She takes her best hitter and puts her at the top today.
Gonna have to throw to first to complete the strikeout, and does so. Strikeout number 2 for Maddie Penta.
And after Penta goes upstairs with all her hard pitches, she goes deep into her toolbox and actually uses her changeup for the strikeout pitch. And it's been so much fun to watch Maddie Penta develop throughout her career. Really was a role player her freshman year. Really didn't pitch a whole lot. Her sophomore year, junior year, senior year, just gets better each season.
Already jumping on the first pitch and yanks it foul.
I just love the way UCF swings the bats. I mean, they do not get cheated. When they commit to swinging at a pitch, they are committed and swinging aggressively. And this is a team that has scored a lot of runs this season, really hits up and down the lineup.
Came in with a .306 team batting average. We mentioned how great they play defense. Doherty, sack bunt, her first plate appearance. Smith's in that outside corner from Maddie Penta. Two game. Auburn 5 hits, 4 of those in that 2-run second. 3 hits for the Knights, which all came in that 2-run first. And on the fist, and another one pulled foul.
Seeing some long at-bats here from UCF. And that just showing you the discipline they have, the barrel control they have, able to foul off pitches, really knowing their strike zone well. Big reason why they've had so much success offensively is their plate discipline.
Doherty not going to be able to keep that one fair either. The foul ball. She's getting a little bit closer to fair territory each time. Shannon, all Big 12 second team this year. A home run in the Oklahoma series. 34 career homers for Doherty. 3rd best in school history. This one definitely in play, and it's hit well to left center field and run down and caught up against the fence by Michaela Packer. Well, it is a padded fence out there in the outfield here in Tallahassee, but collided with it and hung on to the softball.
Oh, what an at-bat from Doherty. Battles and hits the ball all the way to the warning track, and her swing is only one-upped by Michaela Packer, who times it perfectly, gets her right hand out to feel where she is by the fence. Watch her right hand, has her right hand out, times her jump perfectly, lands into the passway, an extra base hit.
So it leaves the bases empty with 2 outs for Sona Halajian. Transfer from Cal. .69 miles per hour, almost threw it past Rollers. Pinta wants a towel to wipe away some perspiration. We are in Florida. It is humid. It's certainly warm.
It's sticky.
Sticky's a good way to put it.
It just feels sticky.
So they use one of their defensive time out here to let Manny Pinta get dried off a little bit from the perspiration. Look at Joanne Graff Field. Just to the top of the 3rd inning. Game 1 of 2 today from Tallahassee. The host team, Florida State, taking on Chattanooga in the 2nd game later. Halajian with 2 outs.
You think about what Halajian has meant to this program this season. Played at Cal. Played in the NCAA Regional a year ago, the Norman Regional. Pitcher, hitter. Comes over to UCF. Same thing. In the circle quite a bit, but most importantly has really shown a big power bat here for UCF, and especially as of late, in the last 20 games of the season has just really come on strong, especially with those power numbers. You look at the slugging percentage.
Laid off. Going to ask for the appeal, and first base umpire Matt Dow says she held up, so it's a full count. I mentioned the pitching of Halajian. She's appeared 14 times, 7 starts in the circle. And remember, she won 18 games as a pitcher 2022 for Cal, and also with 13 homers that year. Excellent two-way player, and she fights that off into the left field corner. A.K. McCrary plays it in quickly. She'll hold Halajian to a 2-out single.
Just so impressed with the at-bats of UCF. I mean, they do not go down without a fight. And Halajian, no different, takes a pitch on the inner half, keeps her hands real tight to her body in order to keep this pitch fair. And every hitter in this UCF lineup has just been battling, taking counts deep for Maddie Penta, making her throw a lot of pitches.
Katie Burge running at first base for Halajian. It gives a 2-out chance for the Knights' right fielder and cleanup hitter Chloe Evans. Chloe got the scoring started today. 4th batter of the game in that first inning on Penta. Doubled to left. It scored Cody with the first run of the game. 13th double of the year for Evans. Now wants to bunt and fouls it. That puts her in the hole, 2 strikes.
Well, you don't see too many cleanup hitters go to their short game with 2 outs. But that just shows you the diversity of this UCF lineup. I mean, they have great team speed. They are second in the Big 12 in stolen bases. They know how to use their speed and their power.
In play up the middle, base hit. Chloe Evans, a wide turn, but holding is the runner Burge. A couple of hits already for Chloe Evans. Maddie Pinta had retired 6 in a row, getting the first 2 outs of this inning after Doherty flied to deep center field. And a Elijah base hit, an Evans hit. It was Jasmine Williams who knocked in a run with a single first time up. Esmond missed some time this year with a back injury relatively early in the season. Came back March 8th from that injury. 0-2.
And this is where with the top of the order here for UCF, who has really timed up Maddie Penta, and the speed of Maddie Penta, which she can heat the ball up to 70 miles an hour. This is where Penta needs to go deeper into her toolbox and work in her off-speed pitch a little bit more, because right now UCF is not fooled by that speed.
Strike 3 on the outside corner. Penta gets her second strikeout of the inning, her third of the game.
And Maddie Penta.
You're invited to sit back and watch the ride, because for 2 weeks in June, everyone's a softball fan.
And it all begins in Oklahoma City, May 30th, presented by Capital One, ESPN Family and Networks. Of course, the host team here, Florida State, they were the Nationals runners-up a year ago to OU and won the national title back in 2018. Pitching change for UCF. Now we get to see Sarah Willis in the circle.
Yeah, they bring in their ace. We knew it was just a matter of time before she'd make an appearance in this game. She has been a warrior for UCF all season long. You're going to see a drop ball, curveball combination. Also can throw an off-speed pitch to both sides. If she is on her game, you're going to see her roll over the top of that ball. You're going to see hitters roll over the top of the ball, and she really feeds the infielders with a lot of ground ball outs.
A couple other changes. Janisha Rowe going to come into center field. We thought it was a bit unusual that Rowe had not started this game. Was leading the team in batting average and stolen bases. She now inserted into center field. And we go to the Auburn half of the bottom of the third inning. So enough changes that Mickey Dean and his staff want to make sure they are caught up here. And playing umpire Steve Gould, making sure they have all the changes that have come down the pike here for UCF. Big game here to start this Tallahassee Regional. The 2-seed Auburn, the 3-seed UCF. Winner of this game will face the winner of the upcoming and second game we have in Tallahassee between the Southern Conference champ Chattanooga and the number 15 national seed and host Florida State Seminoles. Got to get out here early, make it a full day of softball. Joanne Graff Field on this Friday. This facility will look much different in about 2 hours. Not that it looks bad right now, but it will be filled to the gills for the home team to play here shortly. All right, we're ready to go again. Isis Trusvik leads off for the Tigers. How about that delivery from Sarah Willis, huh? That smile.
Welcome to the game. And that's what she can do. She can throw the off-speed pitch on any count.
As Fick fly to center field in the first inning.
Well, for UCF, what Sarah Willis does is bring such a high change of speed as well. She can heat the ball up close to 70 miles an hour, too. And the first two pitchers you saw did not have that type of velocity. And you get a look at what she's done in Big 12 play. Remember, this is UCF's first year in the Big 12. That low batting average against.
Cindy Ball Malone also brought Sierra Humphrey into the game at third base. I had a feeling that she was going to, at some point in this game, some fairly mass substitutions. It's a 5-pitch walk to Tresvik to begin the home half of the third.
Well, you would not, seeing Auburn and their offensive performance so far in this game, you would not think that they're one of the teams that has really struggled on offense this season, showing good plate discipline, drawing the walk there. They've strung together a lot of hits, a couple extra base hits in this game, some 2-out hits. Really got it firing on all cylinders.
Amelia Leck, strikeout victim in the first. That was against the starting pitcher for UCF, Caitlin Felton. Went the first inning and 2/3. Caitlin Cochran came in, faced one batter, struck out Packer to finish the second, and now Sarah Willis. Circle here in the bottom of the third for UCF.
Well, Willis having a tough time settling in, and that can be challenging. You see Jada Cody go out and visit with her, who started the game at third base, now is back behind the dish. Jada Cody, just an outstanding utility player, really can play almost any position on the field, but her main positions are third and catcher. Goes out to talk to her pitcher. Just Sarah Willis coming in cold, coming in the game, not really settled into the strike zone. And just seven pitches so far, and 6 of them have been balls.
Leadoff base runner with Tresvik picking up the leadoff walk. Second time in 3 innings the Tigers have put the leadoff batter on base. Called that a strike. 2-2.
And right now, Willis really has good command of her off-speed pitch. The rest of her pitches hasn't really found her rhythm, her release point. And sometimes, some days are like that for pitchers. You just got to keep working.
Off speed, slowly hit the third. Humphrey, I mentioned, just in the game at third base. The ball finds her and gets the out at first, but Tresvik down to second. You know what, Leck really had to slow the bat speed down there just to make contact, and does advance the runner.
Well, Sarah Willis's off-speed pitch is truly an off-speed. It's not a true changeup, and there's not enough velocity on it for you to keep your hands back and reload and get a good look at it. But so you've got to commit, and that's a productive at-bat for Leck, being able to move the runner to second base, really fighting off that good off-speed pitch from Willis with 2 strikes.
The Tigers catcher, Anna Wohlers, has grounded out to second, 0 for 1. Oh, a strike to Wohlers. Team pitches so far from Sarah Willis. She's ahead in the count, 1-2 on Wohlers. Purple hair, the glasses. There's a lot to the Sarah Willis show out there in the circle. It's been a productive one for UCF.
Well, Coach Ball Malone talked a lot about that and also said, yeah, she's got a lot of flair in the circle, but one thing a lot of people don't know is how hard she works. One of the hardest workers on the team, really wants to be successful, really surrounds herself with some of the hardest workers on the team, and that's really paid off for her this season.
Just missing the outside corner.
Well, we've seen this quite a bit today, both with Maddie Penta and now with Willis. This pitch just off the outer half of the plate. It's an outstanding pitch moving away from Wohlers, but did miss outside.
Holding the right for a base hit. Tresvik will be stopped at third as it's quickly played in by Evans, the right fielder. Wohlers singles and the Tigers runners at the corners will one out.
Well, if you look at the scouting sheet on Auburn and it says, you know, this is a team that's going to struggle to hit the ball. This is not the team that UCF has prepared for. This pitch is left too much over the middle of the plate, and Wohlers does not miss. And you look at Auburn, we're not even through 3 innings, and they already have 6 hits in this game through the lineup. Not like one hitter is carrying them. And now they have an opportunity with runners at first and third. This is an Auburn team that does like to steal bases. And I look for Auburn to put the runner in motion early in this at-bat.
So Mickey D put in Riley McNeemer as the runner at first for Wohlers. McNeemer. Max Milanowski at the plate, who doubled first at bat and scored the Tigers' first run. Squares, there goes the runner. You were anticipating Carolee would start McNeemer, and they waste no time in doing so.
And sometimes that's all it takes is a fake bunt. And by the fake bunt by Malinowski, watch where Williams goes. She goes to third base, says, whoops. Guess there was a runner at first base as well. That was an easy steal for Auburn just by forcing some decisions on the infield.
Third steal of the year for McNeemer. Time requested by the catcher, Cody. Tresvik at third. Niemer at second. Tigers looking to take their first lead. Sliding block there by Cody keeps it from going to the backstop.
I mean, she's at the catcher position, but that was a third base stop right there. Just how quick she was with her feet. Such a tremendous athlete. So important at the catcher position to lead with your glove when the ball is on the ground, and she made that look easy.
A cut fouled back by Milanowski. She didn't play a lot last year as a true freshman. Mostly a pinch runner, occasional pinch hitter, reserve at first base last year, and now here in the last couple of weeks has found a home in the starting lineup for Mickey D. It's an off-speed pitch low, 49 miles per hour.
And the motion is so deceptive. You know, she comes through and really tunnels that pitch well, does roll it over and turns it over, almost a flip rollover changeup, but it's so impactful.
Yes, he thinks that's ball 4, but that's not the count we have. That was ball 3. We welcome those of you who've just joined us. We are in Tallahassee, tied at 2, bottom of the third. We have a question as to the count here. Milanowski thought it was ball 4. Plate umpire said it was ball 3, and then it's a full count. Mickey Dean has asked that we look at this, or that the replay official will, and just confirm what the count is. Haven't seen the replay used this way very often, just to confirm the count. Well, there's a centralized replay center in Pittsburgh here for the postseason. So actually, they're going to see if she was hit by the pitch. That's the question here. It is not a question of whether that was ball 4. She claims, or she's feeling, she was hit by that last pitch.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yes,
why we saw Milanowski hustle down the line, and you and I were, that's ball 3. And you can't get a good look there, but Milanowski points to her knee a little bit, says off we go, but if it did,
boy, really
I
hard
can't.
to Well, UCF opened the scoring in this game. They got 2 runs in the first off Maddie Pinta, an RBI double from Chloe Evans, and Jasmine Williams, an RBI hit. Let's take one more look here. Well, that's a different pitch. Auburn tied it with 2 runs in the bottom of the second. An RBI double from Rose Roach and an RBI single from Nelia Peralta. Here's the decision on whether Milanowski was hit by a pitch or not. Oh, they're going to bring her back. There was not enough evidence, and the call on the field was that she was not hit by a pitch. So that call is upheld. It stands. So now it's a full count against Milanowski with runners at second and third and 1 out. Well, you can't make this stuff up, folks. We don't need to go to replay to check that one.
I bet head coach Mickey Dean says, I'd like that review back because, coaches only get 2, and now he's burned 1 of them on that play. And very next play, she does get hit. But this is quite an inning for Auburn as Sarah Willis entered the game to start this inning, has only retired 1 batter, has faced 4 so far. So loads the bases for Annabelle Wiedra, and a big chance here for Auburn to take their first lead of the game. Wiedra flied to left field last time up, 0 for 1. Takes the first pitch upstairs from Sarah Willis. Sarah Willis just does not look comfortable since entering this game, Mark. She just has struggled to find the strike zone. Only pitch she's really had some command of has been that off-speed pitch.
66 miles per hour, but misses up. 2 balls, no strikes. And it was a leadoff walk in the inning to Tresvik that got it started. 1 out base hit by Wohlers. The hit by pitch to Milanowski. Now loaded for Wiedra.
Well, and after that previous pitch, Cindy Ball Malone in the dugout, who does call the pitches. She is the pitching coach, one of the best in the business, in my opinion. Let's just say gave Sarah Willis a strong redirect from the dugout about, hey, this is her ace. This is the pitcher that has really carried them this season, and really wanting her to step up in this moment. And every good pitcher out there knows you can pitch yourself into trouble, but you also have the ball in your hand, and you can pitch yourself right back out. As long as you can find what pitch is working, continue to stay strong between the ears, and Auburn has the bases loaded.
And a 3-1 pitch. His high ball 4 and a walk, forces in a run and gives Auburn their first lead. Resvick touches the plate, 3-2 Tigers. It's been a rough start for Sarah Willis. Brings out Cindy Ball Malone, the head coach.
Well, remember, Caitlin Felton started this game. She certainly can re-enter. But Caitlin Cochran came in and threw to one batter. Michaela Packer in the last inning struck her out. But she is now out of the game, so no more going back to Caitlin Cochran. Now, UCF does have a deep pitching staff, but there's no doubt that Cindy Ball Malone turned to her ace in the middle of a tie game, hoping she could continue to pitch through this game. And so far, it's been a tough go for Sarah Willis. Just cannot find command, and a lot of activity in the UCF bullpen.
Grace Jewell, number 55. Angelina DeVoe well there. Sarah Willis, when you and I saw the starting lineup, Carol, and seeing, number one, that Sarah Willis was not starting in the circle or batting, and she is a two-way player. Which takes ball one. You mentioned, hey, Coach Ball Malone has something up her sleeve here. And it seems to be it's bringing in Sarah Willis at this point. So now you've really rolled the dice. You kind of have to live with that role for a while here, don't you?
Yeah, and this is exactly how she wanted it to play out, but not with the performance so far. And that can happen sometimes. You know, as a coach, you can think through everything. We talked to her yesterday, and she was already kind of going through her lineup, what she thought she would do, might not do, who was going to lead off, who was going to start. And in a typical situation throughout the season, this is exactly what UCF would want, to have Sarah Willis in the circle.
And now it's 3-0.
And remember, she did not start the game.
Right, if she comes out, she's out.
If she comes out, your ace is burned for the game. And in talking to Cindy Ball Malone yesterday, she said, my number one, I just don't want to burn our best pitchers, because she can get creative with the lineup with Sarah Willis being a two-way player. But you can tell pretty soon she's going to have to make that decision.
It's an off-speed strike, 45 miles per hour on 3-0. Willis last year was unanimous American Conference Pitcher of the Year. This year, all Big 12 first team in UCF's first season in the Big 12. She's in a jam here. Ball 4, that is back-to-back bases loaded walks. This one brings in, that is the pinch runner, McNeemer. But 2 bases loaded walks. They've only had 1 hit in the inning, and that was Roller's base hit. There's been 3 walks, pardon me, and a hit by pitch.
And Mark, not that you want to walk anyone in the lineup at any time, but that is a hit batter in the 6th spot and walks for the 7-8 hitters in the Auburn lineup, who have really struggled this entire season. Now, Roach got a double the last time up, but that is not what Sarah Willis wants to do.
And throws ball 1 to Peralta. Initially, Peralta was wanting to wave in Milanowski from third base, but she wisely held up. That didn't elude Cody by much.
Well, if you're Auburn, you have got to take advantage of this situation. This is a team that does not score a lot of runs, has not scored 200 runs on the season yet, and they have a golden opportunity here to really put some distance on the scoreboard.
The off-speed pitch seems to be one she has been able to command.
And typically when you're a pitcher, you just don't have all your pitches. You can work through it in the circle, but not when there's bases loaded, less than 2 outs. You don't have the opportunity. You've got to go with your best pitch and one that you can throw for a strike, especially down in the lineup here for Auburn. And it's just a helpless feeling. You know, the UCF team has a lot of confidence, a lot of faith in Sarah Willis. So does Coach Ball Malone.
Down the right field side, foul.
You know, you have a pitcher who's struggling, and Coach Ball Malone's already used her timeout to go talk to Sarah Willis. So if she does it again, Sarah Willis has to come out of the game. But sometimes as a coach, you're just trying to give your pitcher something to hold on to. And, you know, I'd walk out there and say, look, you're one pitch away from a double play. Like, just keep believing, keep pushing through. We have not seen Sarah Willis in this type of trouble the majority of the season.
Off speed, slow roller. They got to force out at the plate and don't get it. As Cody dropped the ball, the throw is there from Evans, and another run scores. Milanowski comes in, and now an error on top of the other free passes. The nightmare inning continuing for UCF.
I mean, Jada Cody has handled the ball nearly 200 times this season and only has 2 errors. She is one of the best fielders on this team and just cannot squeeze the ball. This is one of those innings for UCF. Someone has got to step up and make a play. And again, if you're Auburn, you just keep it going.
Top of the order, McCrary, left field. This is caught, tagging. Here comes Widra, and she will score. Throw back to second, safe for the turn there, but they're going to appeal here at third base if she left early, and they say no, she did not. Third base umpire gave the sign that she was safe. As Cindy Ball Malone came out, she was wanting to appeal that she left third early.
Well, and hey, look, in this particular inning, if I'm Cindy Ball Malone, I'm going to do the same thing. You're trying to do anything you can to get out of the inning, and you see some motion from her upper body, but if you take a look at her feet, that's really what you're looking at. She did not leave early, in my opinion. We'll get another look, but Coach Ball Malone is going to have video review.
Close play for Roach, just getting back to second base, but it looked like she got in by an eyelash as well. But you could tell by Coach Ball Malone motioning to third base, the play that she is wanting looked at is the runner leaving early from third. And as you mentioned, the lower body didn't look like it left until the ball was in the glove of the left fielder, Kotzman.
Well, Coach Ball Malone has not used any of her video reviews yet, and I can't personally think of a better time. This inning has been never-ending for UCF, and so she's trying to do her part and having the inning end. This would take a run off the board.
A little different look here from down the left field line. Catch made. Is the foot still on the base there? To me, it looks like she's...
Looks like it is.
She timed it perfectly. If this call stands or is upheld, it'll be a sac fly for McCrary. Bring in the 4th run of the inning. So that call is upheld on the field that she did not leave early. And it has now been a 4-run inning, and it's a 6-2 Auburn lead still here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
And 4 free passes in this inning so far from Sarah Willis. 3 walks, 1 hit batter.
Kayla Packer, the 9th batter to come up in the inning. Willis has fallen behind 8 of the 9. Foul out and a strikeout from Michaela. But 4 runs have scored in this inning for Auburn on 1 base hit, and that was a single Romola's punted. Good play there by Willis. She hauled off Cody and gets the out at first to end the inning. But 9-12 for Maddie Pinta. She gave up 2 early runs to UCF, but her offense has come back with 6 unanswered. We take a look at our game summary, and it really changed dramatically in that just completed bottom of the 3rd, Carol.
There is no doubt about it. And a little breathing room for Maddie Pinta and the Auburn defense. This is a defense that is one of the best defenses in the country, top 20 in fielding percentage. So UCF, they also can hit the ball, and you don't have to get them all back in one inning. You just got to chip away. But that was a huge mental lift for Auburn in the bottom of the 3rd.
Well, let's see how the Knights respond now. That was a body blow right there, and really vastly, mostly self-inflicted.
Nothing anyone could have predicted. I mean, that was a very unusual inning for Sarah Willis, and couldn't have come at a worse time for UCF. But this is a team that has really hung their hat on their speed and their power this season and their ability to score runs. And we've seen that they can do that against Maddie Pinta. We saw it in the 1st inning. I look for them to come out and be as disciplined as they've been the entire game. They've really fouled off a lot of pitches, really battling, trying to get on base.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Stormy Kotzelnick leading off. Stormy lined out to the first baseman, Ax Milanowski, in the 1st inning.
Well, I like Maddie Pinta's mentality. She likes to throw first pitch strikes anyway, one of the tops in the country in terms of getting ahead hitters. But right now, you get a look there, 14 first pitch strikes with 15 batters. But especially when your team has a very emotionally uplifting inning, your team scored 4 runs. UCF a little bit back on their heels. What's she do? She gets right ahead of the first batter she sees, really trying not to let UCF get any momentum at all in this inning.
Next pitch from Pinta will be number 70 in this game for Maddie. Stormy Kotzelnick played in the Super Regionals last year. A member of the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. They won the Baton Rouge Regional, beating LSU, and then went to Seattle before falling to the Huskies to end their season. And then she entered the portal, and then now in year 1 here with UCF. Stormy actually spent a year with Washington at the very beginning of her career, but redshirted, didn't play for them before going to Louisiana. Full count now. Pinta. Something she doesn't like there.
Well, and head coach Mickey Dean, who's the pitching coach, came out, and they both did the same thing, talking a little bit about following through, finishing your pitch.
Kotzelnick goes down after it and strikes out. And the 4th strikeout for Pinta. Well, this week's Sunday Night Baseball National League matchup. 3rd game of the 4-game series between Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres and Marcell Ozuna's Braves. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, as well as ESPN Radio. And coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific with baseball tonight. Sunday Night Countdown. Rip and a miss. Sarah Humphreys batting for the first time. She entered this spot last inning. Took over at 3rd base. There's a strike 0-2. Humphreys, true freshman, made the All Big 12 freshman team announced last week.
I mean, this is a deep, talented team at UCF. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Janisha Rowe not in the starting lineup. Sarah Willis not in the starting lineup. You have Sierra Humphreys not in the starting lineup. And yet they all come in, and Coach Paul Malone will play 12, 13, 14 players in a game because she has such a deep roster.
Throw down to first, completes the strikeout. Back-to-back Ks to begin the inning for Pinta, and 3 in a row.
I mean, just such a momentum killer. Your team gets the lead, and you come back if you're UCF, and you get everybody fired up. You get everybody believing again. And what does Maddie Pinta do? She's pitched against, really has worked the count well and used all of her pitches well against the first 2 hitters with 2 big strikeouts. And that just keeps the momentum on Auburn's side.
It is updated for Maddie Pinta with her now 5 strikeouts today. Here is Nini. Janisha Rowe batting for the first time today.
I mean, when you have a pitcher like Maddie Pinta, we just saw that last graphic. I mean, those are just eye-popping numbers, over 900 strikeouts in her career and counting. You just always give your team a chance because you can always fill up the strike zone and get some outs via the strikeout. And that's the best out in the game. No one has to handle the ball. The second one is a fly ball, so only one other person has to handle it. And obviously a ground ball out, you've got 2 people handling it. But Maddie Pinta has really throughout her career just given Auburn an opportunity to win every game they are in because of the amount of strikeouts and her diversity of pitches that she brings to every game.
Wave and a miss by Rose. She strikes out, and Maddie Pinta K's the side. This game concludes. That 3rd inning for the Tigers. Only 1 hit, but produced 4 runs.
And got a little help from Sarah Willis with the 3 walks, the 1-hit batter, had the sac fly, and that's called taking advantage of your opportunities. And that was a huge inning for Auburn as it really put some distance on the scoreboard. And as we saw when Maddie Pinta went out on defense, gave her a little lift as well as she struck out the side.
So the Tigers come up home half of the 4th with the same part of the order that was coming up when they came to the plate last inning. That's Isis Tresvik, who picked up a 5-pitch walk to start that frame, and that really was an indicator of what was to follow in the inning. Besides the walk, Isis is fly to center.
Well, that is a good start for Sarah Willis as she was behind every batter she faced in the last inning, and there were 9 of them. And a good tone setter to just work from ahead if you're Sarah Willis.
Tresvik followed by Leck and Wohlers in the Tigers' 4th. Auburn put up 6 runs on 6 hits. On speed, popped up, foul ground. With room, Shannon Doherty makes the catch. Take a look at our next WNBA games. Tomorrow on ABC, it's Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. They are in New York, taking on Brianna Stewart and the Liberty. That's at 1 Eastern. And then Asia Wilson, the Aces, host Cameron Brinks. Sparks. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown. WNBA Countdown at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Caitlin Clark's got to get her rolling. First 2 games, I think, have been subpar for what people anticipated her coming into the pro ranks.
I mean, and everybody expects her to do exactly what she did at Iowa. You know, whole new league, whole new teammates. And, oh, by the way, remember, the Fever did finish last in the league last year. So, you know, it's going to take some time and a whole lot of patience.
There's a reason the Fever had the first overall pick. Tresvik swing and a miss. 0-2 is Sarah Willis trying to gain a little confidence there in the circle. Willis does a lot of talking, most of it to herself, I think, out there in the circle.
Well, and on a day like Sarah Willis has had, you're just trying to do anything you can to get yourself back in that positive state of mind. And that was a tough inning, last inning for Sarah Willis. All the free passes. Now coming back with 2 quick outs.
Big scream there from Willis after getting the strikeout of Leck. The first K of the game for Willis.
Willis settling in. This is a curveball breaking away from Leck. She has no chance. This pitch she threw with a lot more velocity than the rest of her pitches. And it gets right past Leck.
Ball 1 to Wohlers. And it has a hit. In fact, she had the only hit in that 4-run third. It's a single to right. Six unanswered runs here by Auburn. This SEC Big 12 matchup to start the day here in Tallahassee. Even when she wasn't throwing many strikes in the previous inning, the off-speed pitch was there for her.
And she has one of the most unique off-speed pitches really in the nation, how she turns it over. It's kind of a combination flip change. And it has just that right amount of speed, about 10 miles an hour slower. So you can't reload as you get a look there of Wohlers. You see it coming and you think, oh, I can still put this in play. No, you can't, because it has too much velocity on it. It's a true off-speed. Typically a changeup's going to be 12 to 15 miles an hour slower. Her off-speed pitch is about 9 to 10, and she has such good command of that pitch.
To Wohlers, that pitch must have seemed like it took 3 days to get to the plate.
And it sets up all of her other pitches. She wasn't able to throw her faster pitches for strikes in the previous inning. But now that she's thrown 2, sometimes 3 in a row of the off-speed pitch, it really sets up something with more velocity. Can't catch up to it if you're a hitter.
And she does just that. It's 68 miles per hour, but Wohlers is able to take it upstairs. Full count. Kind of get a feeling here, Carol. This is a big pitch for Willis. If she can get out of this inning 3 up, 3 down, and the whole regional may change for her. And instead, it's ball 4. A 2-out walk, which again isn't the end of the world, but I know you get what I'm saying here, Carol. She needs to get a clean inning here. Really kind of help her get past what happened last inning.
Just truly has not been in a rhythm since she came in the game. Did not start the game. Started in the 3rd inning of this game. A lot of walks, free passes, hit batters. Just still has not settled in. Does not have command of all of her pitches.
On the ground at third base. Time there for Humphrey to get the out at first to end the inning. So Willis does have a scoreless
24/7 help.
You've reached the dead end, monster!
No kidding. Dead batteries are the worst. But no worries. Geico gives me even more coverage and...
Allo gets a hold-of-one, 2-run Jello shot.
Inside, Vidal is left field! See you later!
And Family Networks watch all 18 games. Well, here in Tallahassee, going to the top of the fifth. UCF got out of the gate quickly off Maddie Pinta, scored twice, but since then, 6 unanswered from Auburn. They scored 4 in the third, only 1 hit off Sarah Willis. Now Pinta back to work. UCF comes up at the top of inning 5. Nine 1 and 2 hitters for the Knights. This is Aubrey Evans leading off. Maddie Pinta set the side down in order, striking out the side in the fifth. She's fanned the last 4 batters. She's at 81 pitches. Kind of get the feeling here, Carol, that if you don't get to Pinta in this inning with at least a run or 2, that hill's going to be really big for UCF to climb later.
The first time through the lineup, UCF had their way with Maddie Pinta a little bit, really battling deep into counts, several hits. And the second time through the lineup has been a much different story.
Playable and foul ground from Peralta. 1 gone. We mentioned we got Florida State Chattanooga coming up as our second game here from Tallahassee. And this Tallahassee Regional looks like, you look at RPI, 4th best of all the regionals.
Every game here will be competitive because this is the 4th toughest in terms of average RPI. And really, the team that punches their ticket to Super Regionals is truly up to grabs when you have that evenly matched of teams, that battle-tested of teams coming into the same regional. It's going to be, every single game is going to be exciting, close, and competitive.
Top of the order that is, and Jada Cody. Hey, the Mocs are here, the Chattanooga Mocs, the regular season and tournament champions in the Southern Conference. It's about a 5.5, 6 hour drive, they told us, down from Chattanooga. Whacked into left center field. It's going to go all the way to the fence, picked up by Packer, and in with a head first slide, getting that right hand in safely. Jada Cody, 13th 2-base hit, looking to get the Knights offense rolling again. That ends a string of 5 in a row retired by Pinta.
And Jada Cody is just so explosive. And I love that Coach Bear, as they call her, put her at the top of the lineup because she's going to get the most at-bats in this game. And she is so tough to strike out, one of the toughest to strike out in the nation. So she's going to put the ball into play. And she takes a high pitch rise ball in the zone and elevates it out, showing you her power.
Doherty takes a strike. Well, if UCF is going to make some noise here, Carol, they got the top of the order up. Cody already with a double and a single, 2 hits. Still a lot of softball to play here in this first game of the day.
I mean, this UCF team is feisty. You know, they are spicy. They are not going to go down without a battle. This is a team that knows how to fight. They know how to come from behind. Always have a lot of energy. Even watching them practice yesterday, it's always interesting to practice before your first regional game. Some teams really laid back, you know, much more relaxed. And not UCF. I mean, they were practicing like it was their first practice of the year. Everybody's hustling around. It's a lot of energy. And we're starting to see that energy come back. We saw it at the beginning of the game, got deflated in the middle. And now Jada Cody gives him a little life with that double.
Doherty has a sacrifice and his fly to center. Inside, and that hitter. Doherty hit by pitch. Tying run for UCF is going to get into the on-deck circle. Another big bat, and Elijah coming up.
Well, this is a pitch that just gets away. It's a drop ball, and she doesn't quite get over top of the ball, so does not get that downward spin on the ball. And it does indeed hit Doherty.
First year in the Big 12 for UCF. Preseason poll, they were picked 5th. They finished 5th. The 4 teams above them are the series they all lost. Texas, OU, Oklahoma State, and Baylor. By the way, 3 losses to Baylor by 1 run, then another 1-run loss to Baylor in the conference tournament. But all the teams below them they played, they won those series against Iowa State, Houston, BYU, Texas Tech, and Kansas. So to say UCF came in their first year in the Big 12 from the American and were competitive doesn't give them justice. They were really good.
And you think about who's in the Big 12. You got 3 of the top 10 teams in the country in Texas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. And look at the rest of the conference. UCF won those series in their inaugural season in the Big 12. That is very impressive. But this is a team that has been on the national scene for a long time. They hosted a regional in 2022, just a couple years ago. This is a team that knows how to win and how to compete.
Sona Halajian had a pretty good rip at that 1-0 pitch. It was off speed. She's going to bounce this through the right side. Cody coming to the plate, in with a slide. Halajian's RBI makes it a 6-3 game, and here come the Knights.
Halajian, typically a pull hitter. She has her power up the middle to the pull side. So what's Penn to do? She throws her an outside pitch. It says not a bad pitch. It's on the outer half of the plate. But Halajian is patient, lets it get deep, actually beats it into the ground, but does take it the other way. Does not pull the ball. It's got some eyes. Finds a way to the outfield. Run.
Hit to left field. That's going to find the alley. Doherty will score. Halajian to second. An RBI single for Evans. And just like that, on back-to-back swings, the Knights cut the deficit in half from 4 down to 2.
Well, this is a team that has been facing tough pitching all season. And Maddie Penta, yeah, she's one of the best in the country. But UCF has been preparing for this regional game after game in the Big 12. This is a rise ball up in the zone. And right now, UCF has something that every team wants in the post.
Halajian back in the 3rd with Burrs, so they couldn't run for her again. I think if you got better wheels, that runner is probably at third base, but hands tied there for Coach Bear. And it looks like Mickey Dean is going to make a change here. Pulling out the lineup card. And Maddie Penta is going to leave the game. Well, Shelby Lowe is going to come in as a new pitcher.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. But she did give up 8 hits today, near the 100-pitch mark. And as this is the 3rd time through the lineup now for UCF, Auburn makes a pitching change.
And she had retired 5 in a row, but then 4 in a row reached, and that brings in Shelby Lowe.
I believe Auburn has the best 1-2 punch in the circle in this entire regional. They have 1A and 1B. 1B is Shelby Lowe, comes from the left side, a lot more tight spin on the ball, very competitive in the circle, can really throw all the pitches.
The tying runs are on base for UCF. 2 runs already in. Made it a 6-4 game. Washington has an RBI hit. She's at second. Evans at first. Shortstop Jasmine Williams facing Shelby Lowe. In the last game that Shelby Lowe pitched, the last game that Pinta pitched, Pinta worked the first 9 innings of what turned out to be a 14-inning game against Georgia in the SEC tournament. Lowe came in through 4 2/3, took the loss in that game. Georgia came back with 4 in the bottom of the 14th to win it. But Lowe had thrown, 3+ scoreless innings prior to that.
Yeah, Lowe has just so much experience, a seasoned veteran, very confident in the circle, really can throw a curve on both sides. That's really her best pitch.
Ooh. I can see why Shelby Lowe's got a look of consternation on her face there. Like, where did I miss there? I'll let you be the judge.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. That's a little backdoor curveball that catches the corner.
Instead of 2-1, it's a 3-1 pitch. Bounce to second. Out there. Bare hand. What a throw. Got him. Roach to Peralta, and Nelia just took it right out of the air with the bare hand and fired to first, and they get 2 to win the inning. Now.
And remember, Coach Ball Malone has used one review.
Close at second with the bare hand and the left foot seems to be enough to overturn the call. They saw her point to from the dugout there to second base. So we'll discussing here, but I'm safe at first, and they
only if the umpire's time.
Second, safe. Ball's appeal was,
I believe, as well. It was very clear. Cindy Ball Malone pointed to second base, and when the umpires first went over to the video review, they gave us the signal they were reviewing the play at second base. Then they also must have decided on their own, which they can do at any time, to review the play at first base.
So the inning continues. Runners are at the corners with 2 outs. So the tying run still on base for UCF. And Stormy Kotzelnick is the night's hitter. We're only in the top of the 5th inning.
Did your brain hurt on that one?
I'm just about to say that. This whole day has been a cognitive challenge. Popped up. Will it stay in play? Here comes Wohlers. And that ends the inning. UCF back in the game, though. We got a tight one here in game 1 of the day. Chattanooga, Florida State coming up next. Winner of both these games square off against each other tomorrow. Losers square off in the first elimination game tomorrow. Do not miss a minute of the action from the NCAA Softball Regionals. We'll take you to the best live action on the 7 Innings live show. It's on the ESPN app. You can see every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN network. Noles fans keep making their way into their ballpark. Seats keep filling up. It will be crazy. Madhouse for our second game when the host team plays. It was a great environment in Tallahassee as Auburn bats, bottom of the 5th. Annabelle Weidra leading off. It's the bottom 3 for the Tigers. UCF just put a 2 spot up in the top of this inning. And now more falls on the shoulders of Sarah Willis, who, after coming in the game in the bottom of the 3rd and giving up 4 runs on only 1 hit, walks were an issue in that frame. And a pretty clean 4th inning. Can she do it again in the 5th? Left center field, looking like extra bases. Weidra on her way to second, and she will be in standing with a leadoff double.
And this is the third double of the game for Auburn, for a team not normally known as hitting a lot of extra base hits. This is a marginal pitch. May have been out of the strike zone, but Widra commits to hitting the pitch, lets it get deep in the zone, takes her barrel the opposite way. And this is something we've seen a lot from Auburn. They get the leadoff batter on base.
Looking to move the runner over. Roach squares and takes a ball outside. Well, the day for Rose Roach began well. An RBI double in the second, then a bases-loaded walk in the third. And now she wants to advance Widra over to third base.
Roach showing good discipline as Willis knows the short game is coming, so she works up in the zone. That's the toughest pitch to hit and the easiest pitch to pop up. But Roach squaring around with that barrel at the top of her strike zone, and if it's above the barrel, she's just letting it go. Just good plate discipline right now from Roach.
That one is a strike on the offer.
And that's the one you want to bunt. It's already down in the zone. All you got to do is bend your knees and put the ball into the dirt.
Couldn't get it down. It went foul. Two balls, two strikes on Roach. Will she continue to bunt with two strikes? Or attempt to bunt.
Well, now if you're Roach, you're just looking for a productive at-bat. Something that's going to move the runner from second base. Get Widra over to third base.
And that's going to do the job as that goes between the legs of Cody. And over to third goes Widra.
And this is where you know Sarah Willis just really not sharp today. Really hasn't been sharp since he set foot in the circle. That one crossed up Cody. She was set up to the inner half of the plate. The ball came outside. She didn't get there in time. Auburn with another opportunity here to get a run on the board.
And there's strike three on the high part of the zone. It gets Roach looking. Second K for Willis in the first out of the inning.
That was a gift for Willis. That one was right down Broadway, as I call it. This is right in the middle of the strike zone. And especially with a runner at third base, pitch a little elevated. If you're Roach, got to do something with that pitch, put the ball in play. That was a pitch she could have driven to the outfield for a sac fly.
Willis starts Peralta with strike one on the outer half. Lee with an RBI single in the second. Reached on a fielder's choice in the third. And that hit the bat, hit the knob of the bat. Foul ball.
Well, Peralta starts her swing, and this is a pitch on the inner half. It's a rise ball on the inside part of the zone, and it just taps her knob. She can't get it out of the way, and that was a break for Willis. Got the bottom part of the order up for Auburn, especially with a pitcher like Willis who throws a lot of off-speed pitches. It'd be a good time to do a squeeze bunt, because the squeeze bunt off a changeup. But now with two strikes, that really gets wiped off the table.
Off speed, bounce to short, throw back to third, safe. Williams does not get it out, and Peralta will reach on a fielder's choice. A gamble there by Williams. He had the second out of the inning just waiting at first base, but he thought she saw some daylight and could get Widra.
I mean, you have the chance to get to two outs here Williams attacks the ball, but if you're going to throw at the back runner, the lead runner, you've got to be sure you're going to have the out, because she absolutely had the out at first base, especially when your pitcher is struggling to get outs. Getting to 2 outs there in that situation would have been huge for UCF. Just seen some uncharacteristic plays from the UCF defense today. This is a team that is 8th in the country in team defensive fielding percentage, and they do not have pitchers who get double-digit strikeouts, so they have to handle the ball a lot. This is nothing new for them, but we saw the error from Cody at the plate. Now the mental error there from Williams at shortstop, just very uncharacteristic of UCF.
If you get the out at first, it's runner at third, 2 outs. When it was runner at third, nobody outs. A chance to really kind of change momentum even more the direction of the Knights. Top of the order up, Crary.
And just not being competitive on the first third play, just allowing Auburn no throw, not even a fake throw. Just really giving Auburn a gift to get to second base. Just not the defensive performance we're used to seeing from UCF.
Elkin's third stolen base. And the strike is the call on A.K. McCrary. He's had an important day at the plate. Singled in the first, singled in the second, and a sac fly in the third. Chance here with a base hit to get the 2 runs back that UCF scored in the top half.
Just really enjoyed visiting with her yesterday. And just, you know, this is an Auburn team that played the second toughest schedule in the country, not always coming out on the winning side of a lot of those games, but she was very confident in her team entering into this regional.
Bunted, foul. That's a foul ball. It's not an out on the bases.
And there's that squeeze we were talking about. I love that call from Auburn. When you have Sarah Willis in the circle, the odds are you're going to see a couple off-speed pitches. Now, she didn't throw one there on the squeeze bunt. McCrary couldn't get it down. But I love the call. All the momentum is with Auburn right now, and when you can score on a squeeze play, it just gives you even a little more lift.
Wave and a miss, and a strikeout of McCrary. And Willis. It's the second out of the inning on another strikeout.
Biggest strikeout of the day for Sarah Willis. It's a curveball breaking away from McCrary. Pulls her head just enough. Does not see it hit off her bat. Big strikeout.
Now Willis will face Packer. Willis at second and third, 2 outs, 6-4. Auburn last to the 5th. .46 miles per hour.
It's just nasty.
As nasty as 46 miles per hour
Dirty
can
and
be.
nasty. I mean, that is just a beautiful pitch for Sarah Willis. Just hides it so well. Her motion is still very explosive. It just floats it in there.
Bouncing ball coming up on it. Little juggle, but the throw to first in time from Aubrey Evans. And Willis is able to get out of that jam unhurt. UCF 2 runs in the first inning, 2 runs in the 5th. They trail it by 2 as they come up here in the top of the 6th and standing in the on-deck circle there.
Well, and this is a team that does not take a lot of free passes. You know, they don't walk a lot. They don't get hit by pitches a lot. They are in there to swing the bat. And when they do, good things happen. You saw the amount of base runners they had. And when they had a lot of base runners, they were able to score a lot of runs.
That caught the umpire in the arm. That's Steve Gould. Trainer will bring out a little drink of water. Steve Gould. And
I mean, I say this all the time with catchers and with umpires. They have all this gear on and they're protected. They got the face masks, they got the shin guards, the chest protectors, and the ball will find the bare spots. It just does. And that does not feel good.
All right, is it 1 strike count on Sierra Humphreys. Second at bat for Sierra. True freshman, all Big 12 freshman team this year. Number 3 in the order for the Knights here in the 6th. On 3 pitches, Lowe gets the strikeout.
This is what makes Shelby Lowe so impactful, is she can really spin the ball, not just spot the ball, but spin the ball through all parts of the zone. This time it's a rise ball clearly out of the zone, but she's been picking the corners low, and that set up that rise ball for the strikeout.
Nene Rowe bunts back towards the pitcher. It's scooped up and a long shovel by Widra. I don't think she was going to get Rowe anyway with her speed. It's a bunt base hit for Janisha Rowe.
And what makes this so impactful is she gets it down right away. And Widra can't play it any better. I mean, she comes all the way across, takes the ball away from the left-handed Lowe. That's going to be an even harder play for Lowe. But Rowe put the ball exactly in the spot where no one could get it.
Well, they're going to say that that was an illegally batted ball. So that becomes a strike, and they bring her back to the circle. So that's no bunt base hit. And an 0-1 count. And now an 0-2 count.
And remember, on that play, once Rowe is outside of the box or on the box, when she makes contact with the bunt, which that was the call, it's a delayed dead ball, so you let the play happen, and then the defense has the choice. Do you want the result of the play? Well, that was a hit. No, they didn't want that, or the strike. And they chose the strike. Auburn chose the strike, and she's now down 0-2.
Hey, it's kind of hard to see the lines there right now. And that's hit over the shortstop Peralta into left field, and the end result turns out to be the same. It's a base hit for Nene Rowe. See if it takes her long to be on the move. Number 2 in the Big 12 with 19 steals. She must have come close to stepping on the plate, because like I mentioned, the chalk lines are gone basically on the part of the batter's box on the inside that the umpire would be really using to judge whether you step out or not.
Yeah, there's no more lines there. But remember, with the 4-umpire system, in NCAA regional play, sometimes that call isn't made by the home plate umpire, it's made by the second base umpire, as they really have a good look as well to see if they're stepping across the plate.
So very possible that Susan Eads, the second base umpire, made that call possibly from second base. All right, Aubrey Evans has twice hit the ball to the shortstop, Nelia Peralta, 0 for 2. There she goes. The pitch thrown down and safe. Peralta didn't field it cleanly. Was trying to put a quick tag. Would have been an interesting play if she was able to actually catch that and apply the tag. It was going to be close, but a steal, number 20 for Rowe.
The Wohlers gets rid of this ball quickly, throws from her knees. It's right on the money, but Peralta, too big and long of a swipe tag. Would have liked to have seen her just less motion, go straight down to the front of the base. As you mentioned, Mark, that would have been a very close play.
Well, now, catcher Wohlers has gone over towards the dugout, but the reason why is that the umpires are looking for a review here. All right, was there a part of this play that we missed in real time? Was there something with the hitter and the catcher's throw, perhaps? Now, there wasn't even really a tag put on Rowe at second base. Now, the ball did it come out later than it kind of looked in real time? Or maybe she actually did get a tag on her? And if you're Mickey Dean, you can just roll the dice here. He hasn't used the challenge. We're in the 6th inning anyway. All right, she's safe.
Well, remember, he used that challenge real early in the game about the hit by pitch.
Oh, that's
Seemed
right.
like it was several hours ago.
Okay.
So he has used his 2. Coach Ball Malone has used 2. So now it's really up to the umpires on whether or not we'll have a video review.
So Newmarket is the 20th steal for Rowe. 2-ball, 1-strike count on Aubrey Evans. That could be a really, really big run at second base for UCF. Now Mickey Dean wants time. He wants his catcher, Wohlers, to go out to the circle.
Yeah, wasn't real happy with Shelby Lowe falling behind in the at-bat. I mean, this is the 9 batter in Evans, and you're looking in the on-deck circle, you see Jada Cody, Shannon Doherty in the hole. Galasian, who's had a big day, really a big last couple weeks of the season. I mean, yeah, you start counting outs a little bit if you're UCF. You've really got kind of 5 outs to play with here, but this is the heart of the lineup you want up.
And a 5-pitch walk puts the 9-hole hitter Evans aboard, and here comes that top of the order for UCF. Oh, it's second base. And Evans at first. Here comes Jada Cody, who has a couple of hits today. One of those for extra bases. And scored 2 of their 4 runs. Shows bunt and takes ball 1. Well, and now Mickey Dean has come way out, and he was trying to talk to his catcher. The plate umpire was motioning him back towards the dugout, and now they get into a short battle of words.
Well, and remember, you cannot argue as a coach balls and strikes. That is an immediate ejection. And Coach Mickey Dean coming out to talk to his catcher, but the message may have been a joint message for the catcher and the umpire, and the umpire made sure and let Coach Dean know that.
Strike call on Cody. First inning, single to left, strikeout in the third, double to left in the fifth. Big part of that batting order, hitting over 350 right up top today. And after that messy 4-run bottom of the second, or bottom of the third inning, for the UCF pitcher Willis and the defense, yeah, the potential tying runs on base. Moore got it going with a one-out base hit. Stole second. A walk to Evans. Now the count in the favor of Jada Cody at 3-1. Popped up on the infield, and the infield fly should be in effect. It is. Catch made nonetheless for Peralta. That's a huge out for Shelby Lowe. Fell behind in the count to Cody, and she gets her to pop out.
And she goes to her best pitch, which is her curveball. The best curveball she's thrown today. Had tight spin, broke right into Cody's hands. As you mentioned, just the biggest out of the game so far for Auburn.
Still a two-out chance for UCF. Shannon Doherty at the plate. Sack bunt came in the first. Since then, fly out in the third and was hit by a pitch and scored in the fifth.
Well, this is where UCF has been dangerous today, hitting 400 with runners in scoring position and 444 with 2 outs. Been very productive.
High fly, left field. It's deep, and UCF leads. Sixth of the year for Shannon Doherty, and the Knights have completely dug out of that hole and have taken a 7-6 lead.
Well, UCF is a team that never quits, and this pitch, she goes again. Lowe goes again to her curveball, but this time it's elevated and a little bit too much over the plate, and Doherty does not miss.
33rd, 34th, and 35th RBI. His third most in school history, and that's a big one there to give him the lead here in the top of the sixth. Sona Halajian has a couple of hits her last 2 times up, as then the Knights dugout now really alive.
Well, you can't say enough about the resilience of UCF to get back in this game. And you go way back to the third inning, and that was a very long inning for UCF out in the field. Just all the momentum shifted to Auburn. Sarah Willis was struggling, and UCF has just chipped away at this lead. And they've done it through the lineup. That's something they've been doing all season long. And this is a team that has a lot of hitters hitting over 300, almost the entire starting lineup. So they can produce runs as they have been all season long. And that's what it's taken to get back in this game and now take the lead.
Base hit. Halajian's third consecutive hit in this game. She's 3 for 4. Well, UCF scored 2 in the first to take the lead. Then Auburn scored 6 unanswered, 2 in the second, 4 in that third inning. And now it's been 5 unanswered for the Knights, with 3 coming in this inning on a long ball from Doherty. Evans bunts it foul at the plate.
I think that's one of the things that's so impressive about UCF is how they've been able to adjust from the speed of Penta, 70-plus miles an hour on almost all of her pitches. And they really caught up with her and had good contact and were on time. And now they've adjusted to Shelby Lowe. A lot more spin on the ball. They're letting the ball get deeper in the zone. But they have been on time, really making some solid contact throughout the lineup.
0-2 count. It's 11 hits now for UCF. 3 in this inning. 3 an inning ago. And there's another one. Evans' 3rd hit, actually her 4th hit. Boy, Evans is 4 for 4. Three consecutive 2-out hits for UCF.
Well, there have been some long 2-out rallies for UCF today. You mentioned it, 12 hits in the game, but 7 of those have come with 2 outs. This is a team that knows how to pass the bat.
Knight's situational hitting hasn't been great leading off, but everything else after that, high marks. They're not finished here in the top of the 6th.
And what 2-out rallies can do to the defense is really deflate the defense. You think, we're 1 out away from getting back in there and getting the offense going on our own. But UCF today has just kept the momentum on their side with 2 outs.
Now you start looking ahead to Auburn. We will have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up in the 6th. They still have a couple innings to play with, but now find themselves down for the first time since early in the game.
Well, and you go back to that strategy with Coach Cindy Ball-Malone, where we saw her not start Sarah Willis, saw her bring in Caitlin Cochran for an out, and then go to Sarah Willis in the 3rd inning. And clearly it was not in a groove. It did not look like that decision was going to pay off. But now, if you asked Cindy Ball-Malone, they just stuck with it. Their offense came back for them. If you said, who do you want in the circle here in the 6th and 7th innings? I mean, there's no doubt she would say Sarah Willis.
We're going to miss by Williams. She's in the hole 1 and 2. Dozen hits for the Knights. Williams, who played 4 seasons at Oregon. In play to center. Hit deep. Gone! The second 3-run homer of the inning. That's her 2nd homer of the year, and that was to dead center field for Jasmine Williams. And boom, suddenly it's 10-6.
And the momentum continues for UCF. With 2 outs, they have done damage. This is a backdoor curve that falls right into the middle of the plate in the strike zone. And Jasmine Williams times it up perfectly. She is on time. She is on balance and absolutely blasts it out of the park.
Head coach Mickey Dean came out to the circle. He stays with Shelby Lowe. What a top of the 6th inning for UCF. All 6 of these runs have come with 2 outs. Doherty's 3-run homer, and then 3 batters later, Jasmine Williams a 3-run homer. Stormy Kotzelnick is the 9th batter to come up in the inning for the Knights, and she gets a high fly to center that will stay in the park for Packer to retire the side. Well, 2 3-run homers in the inning, but
It's a pepper thing. Greenies makes dog food now?
You mean GREENIES?
All regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
well, the seats continue to fill in here at Joanne Graff Field. A lot of the Knowles fans are now here because we're a half hour past what was supposed to be the start time of the second between Florida State and Chattanooga. We're just going to the bottom of the 6th. If you look at the line score, 8 unanswered now from UCF after Auburn had scored 6 unanswered to take the lead. Now the Tigers see what they can do offensively with the 3, 4, and 5 hitters up in the 6th. Strike 1 from Sarah Willis. Breastvick leading off. Ice is 0 for 2 with a walk and has scored a run. Well, 7 hits for Auburn today. And their big inning when they scored 4 in the 3rd, they had only 1 single in that inning.
Well, this is not an Auburn team that scores runs in bunches. And so they've got a long road here. We've seen some positive things from their offense early in this game. But Sarah Willis is coming in the top of the 3rd, and it has not been easy for her, but she's only given up 3 hits.
And looks completely different from the pitcher we saw come into the game in the bottom of the 3rd. It really could not have gone a whole lot worse. But she's bounced back from that.
And just a lesson in perseverance. And Coach Cindy Ball Malone really had a tough decision to make there. She had used her visit as Willis gets the first strikeout of the inning. She had used her. You know, she wanted to go have another one. She had walked several batters in that inning, but stuck with her. And this time it's the drop ball down in the zone, and Tresvik just can't keep up with it. It's a pitch that starts low and gets lower, and with 2 strikes, Tresvik has to protect. And this is the Sarah Willis that we're used to seeing. Not the 4 walks in there, but the 4 strikeouts. She's very stingy in terms of the number of hits she gives up every time she sets foot in the circle.
It would be interesting to get into the mind of the Knights head coach Cindy Ball Malone and know how close she was to having to pull Willis from the game after just bringing her in that 3rd inning.
I'm keeping a close eye on her, and there were many times she started that foot out of the dugout. But again, we talked about it because she didn't start the game. She would have been burned in that game, and she could have gone back to the starter, but chose not to. And Willis has just hung in there, and I've just been really impressed with her perseverance. She has not had her best stuff today. There's no doubt she would share the same thing with us, but that's what great pitchers do. They find ways to win. They find ways to create outs for their team, even when they don't have their best stuff.
You saw her mom watching in the stands, and I'm sure that 3rd inning, it's hardest on the parents. Is it not?
For sure, you know, you don't have any control.
Yeah.
So you're just...
Get your kid out there. One-two pitch from Sarah Willis. That holds up, or did she? She did.
Well, Cindy Ball-Malone had told us yesterday that in the fall she took the changeup away from Sarah Willis. That's her best pitch, and tried to have her create outs with everything but her changeup. And it was a little bit the opposite today. It was changeup was the only thing that was really working. But, you know, she'd practiced that before in terms of not having a pitch, and she gets her second strikeout of the inning. But she had practiced that. Hey, you don't have this pitch today. You still got to find ways to get outs. And so that did benefit her here in the regional. This time she goes to that off-speed pitch. It just falls off the table, and nobody happier than Mom.
So 5 Ks for Willis, 2 outs in the inning. Bowlers is up. It's just totally different. Now she's getting ahead of the count where she couldn't get strike one on the first pitch at all in the first inning she pitched.
And she's getting a lot of swings and misses, Mark. And when you get swings and misses, you're making the ball move. You're doing something funny with the ball. You're getting spin. You're getting downward movement. You're getting side spin. It's jumping late, and that's what we did not see from Sarah Willis early in this game. She couldn't even find the strike zone with her fastest pitches.
Try to turn around for UCF. Let's flip that around to the Auburn side. If you say middle of the game, you're going to have Maddie Pinta still in there pitching, and you have scored 6 runs. If you're an Auburn fan, you're thinking, yeah, I'll take my chances with that every day of the week.
For sure. And again, I give credit to UCF. They really had timed up Maddie Pinta well.
So Mickey Dean came out to talk to his hitter rollers. We mentioned Mickey Dean earlier in the season said that he will retire at the end of the season. If his team is unable to come back here, they will be in the losers bracket and be playing an elimination game tomorrow.
Well, that timeout he took to talk to Wallers was really to just try and slow down Sarah Willis, who was in a groove this inning. 2 quick strikeouts. Just wanted to try and break the momentum a little bit.
No, that's just strike 2.
I mean, what haven't we seen in this game today, Mark?
Plate umpire thought it was about strike 3. He was about to ring up rollers on strike 2. Full count. We are, by the way, exactly 3 hours into this game. They're in the bottom of the 6th. Three-2 on the way from Willis. Stayed high. The off-speed pitch. And that's ball 4. Maybe the hitter's timeout with Mickey Dean did pay off.
It's still a really competitive pitch with full count, and that's what you want from your pitchers is every pitch has a purpose. And that particular pitch did not miss. She did give up the walk, but it was a competitive pitch.
Up high to Axe Milanowski. A couple of hits today for Axe. A couple of runs scored. Played a big part in grabbing that 4-run lead after 3 innings. Floated out into right field. Caught. Sliding grab there made by Chloe Evans. And that takes care of the Tigers.
And 3 spritzes with Kettle One Botanical. Give me a summer that never ends.
Well, UCF in the 6th inning had some fireworks. It started with Shannon Doherty, a 2-out, 3-run home run to give UCF the lead. And all the momentum shifted to UCF. They were not done. Williams says, I can hit a 3-run home run too. She does more damage for the Knights. A 6-run inning for UCF. Lots of energy, lots of momentum. They take a commanding lead. And what a 6th inning it was for UCF.
We'll face a new pitcher in the circle. Annabelle Weidra is going to come in, but how about that top of the 6th? All that with 2 outs. So Weidra moves from 3rd to the circle.
And with Weidra, you're going to see just, again, a 3rd pitcher here for Auburn trying to slow down the offense for UCF. She really likes to work up in the zone. You're going to see a rise ball, curve ball combination. Gets a lot of fly ball outs if she's on her game. And she's been very strong for the Tigers over the last 2 weeks of the season.
Sierra Humphreys. The 3rd at bat of the game. High fly, deep center, and another one's going to get out. A solo blast for Sierra Humphreys. 3rd of the year. That's a 5-run lead.
Well, UCF is known more for their speed than their power, but they are showing you they also can hit the long ball. The first batter Weidra sees, she puts one too much over the white part of the plate, and as we have seen all game long, UCF has been on time.
Now, if we did a before and after of the Knights dugout from about 3 innings ago to now, it has gotten charged up. And nothing you can do to throw her out right there. You know, you can make an argument. Now, granted, she didn't hit either of the 2 3-run home runs Nene wrote, but she really got that going with a 1-out base hit in that 6-run 6th inning.
I mean, she can put the ball in the dirt with a little bit of touch, as we just saw with that bunt. Her speed is, she's just got lightning speed down the line, and especially when she can put it down the 3rd base line, which is a longer throw. There was not even a chance for a throw on that bunt.
I think she was at the base before they even got to the ball. Bunt it as well as you can bunt it. Oh, Evans trying to bunt and does so foul.
And UCF has such a complete offense. You know, typically, we don't see quite as many home runs, if 3 so far in the game. But they can bunt their way on base. One of the best teams in the field of 64 in terms of bunting their way on base. They're in the top 10 of the 64 teams. So they're used to putting the ball in the dirt and then letting their speed take over. Also a lot of stolen bases, second in the Big 12 this season. So this is a very complete offense. And when you have an offense that has speed and power, you never feel like you're out of the game. And as you mentioned, it was crickets over there in the dugout in the 3rd inning, but they just kept chipping away and chipping away. Now they've got double-digit runs.
If it stays fair, it's got a chance, and it is missed in foul territory. Right near the fence. Long run there for KK McCrary. Did get a glove on it. And Abby Smith out there now in left field. Two count. Nobody out in the UCF 7th. They have scored 9 unanswered runs. Stays 3-2 on Aubrey Evans.
Well, and talking with Cindy Ball Malone yesterday, she talked to us a lot about her first year in the Big 12 and just how competitive it was. We're very proud of her team and the way they battled against some of the top teams in the country, but really have focused on the process.
Right field and in right center, Isis Osvik with the catch for the first down.
And so you continue to talk about process, you know, when you get beat by a #1 Texas, beat by a #2 Oklahoma, and you just continue to stick with the process, stick with the plan. And as she said yesterday, but now, I mean, it's just as important to have the results. This is it. This is the time, win or go home. And we've seen some big results here late in the game from UCF.
First pitch, strike. Top of the order, and Jada Cody. Couple of hits for Jada. Single, double, 2 runs scored. And her bunt goes foul.
Well, UCF's combination of speed and power just makes it so difficult to defend. And Jada Cody's one of their best long ball hitters, extra base hitters. And she sees the infield playing a little back, so what's she do? She tries to bunt her way on base. So it's just you're constantly in the minds of the infield. Where do I play? Where do I position myself?
Carrie, you were mentioning UCF in season 1 in the Big 12. Yeah, the 4 teams above them, they didn't beat. But when they got swept by Texas, 2 of those were 2-run losses. Got swept by OU, 1 was a 2-1 loss. Got swept by Oklahoma State, 2 of those games were 2-run losses. And I know there aren't. There goes Needy, and Rowe has a stolen base for second of the game. I know you're not talking any. Well, they're going to say she left early, so she's going to be out. So there's the second out of the inning. But they were very competitive with those teams, and the Baylor team that swept them, those were all 1-run games.
And she talked about that yesterday, how it's really a game of inches. In the Oklahoma game, Halajian hits one off the top of the fence. You know, that goes over. Now you get a tie game. Who knows what happens? And just right there with the best in the country. And that's nothing new for this program. I mean, Coach Ball Malone talked a lot about that. You know, do you recruit any different kids now that you're in the Big 12? Well, she's gone after the same type of athlete since the day she got there. But now, because of the conference, what that has done is, you know, she's been able to get a few more kids on campus.
Out in his shallow right goes the second baseman, and Roach makes the catch. Leadoff home runs for UCF here late. Last chance for the Tigers coming up here. UCF trying to win their first game of the regional, something they not only did last year when they beat South Carolina here on this field 6-1 to start the Tallahassee regional. They're trying to make it 6 straight Game 1 wins in the NCAA tournament.
And when you win that first game, it really sets you up for success. That game tomorrow, the winner's bracket game, I always call it the money game. It really sets you up for success.
Well, now our pitcher, Annabelle Widra, hitting here, takes strike 1. Double today for Widra, as well as a bases-loaded walk in that messy 4-run third. Sarah Willis' first inning of work. Bottom 3 in the order for the Tigers. UCF 3 outs away, leading by 5. Moving into the winner's bracket. Face the winner of the upcoming Florida State Chattanooga game tomorrow.
Well, this bottom part of the order has had some success for Auburn. And you just kind of get that feeling. I mean, they have got a long road here, down 5 runs, but their best opportunity is to turn that lineup over and get back to the top.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Sarah Willis. Tell you what, I don't know if I have seen a performance where a pitcher has come in, endured so many self-inflicted wounds, and lived to stay in the game here to the end to try to close this out. And maybe that's the start for Auburn. Base hit left field for Widra, her second hit on base for a 3rd time today.
They just hung in there and hung in there and hung in there with that off-speed pitch and found a way to flare it really out into left field. And sometimes that's all you can do against such a high-quality changeup like Sarah Willis has. But back to what you were saying, Mark, about Sarah Willis, yes. And falling behind. I mean, she fell behind every batter she faced. And yet here she is with a chance to close it out for her team.
After that base hit a moment ago by Widra, that's the 3rd hit that Willis has allowed since she came into the game in the 3rd inning. And Widra has 2 of them. The other one was the only hit they had in that 4-run 3rd was a single by Anna Wohlers. Roach had a bases-loaded walk in that 4th inning against Willis. Willis a double, an RBI double, in her first extra base hit of the season and her first at bat back in the 2nd.
You know, I give UCF's defense a lot of credit as well. When you're behind a pitcher in today's, this is very atypical performance of Sarah Willis, but throwing a lot of pitches, a lot of long pitch counts, foul balls, long innings, they have stayed in it behind her. They did have the 1 error earlier in the inning. You were talking about that 3rd inning for UCF. Well, they imploded just a little bit. But other than that, they have played very solid defense. And sometimes that's tough to do when you're out there for a long time, just staying focused.
And there's ball 4, and the Tigers have put the first 2 on here in the last of the 7th. And since coming in the 3rd inning, Sarah Willis has now thrown 105 pitches. Here's Nelia Peralta.
And also 6 walks today. 6 walks and a hit batter, just a lot of pitches thrown by Sarah Willis. She just, even though she has hung in there, she's certainly improved since the 3rd inning. She definitely has not been on her A game today. There's no doubt about it.
On a strike. I'll tell you what, Auburn's maybe one more base runner from making this really, really interesting in the bottom of the 7th. And foul.
Well, this is where you're, as a coach, you're like, you've got a 5-run lead. Let's really attack this part of the lineup, the bottom part of the lineup, and clearly that's what Sarah Willis is trying to do. But this is where you know that Sarah Willis is really laboring. She's struggling, just trying to will herself and her team to victory here.
Right off the end of the bat. "15 hits for UCF. Auburn has 8. Since that 4-run 3rd inning for Auburn, they've had only 2 hits, and both for Annabelle Weidler. Double in the 5th and a single here to lead off the bottom of the 7th. That 51-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch, and Doherty can't quite catch up to it in foul territory.
Well, and what you're seeing from Auburn is their ability to pick it up now. This is their 2nd, sometimes 3rd at-bat against Sarah Willis, and they're really learning to hang in there, to be able to foul off and fight off that off-speed pitch, where early in the first at-bat, you could tell they were just frozen by it. Some good adjustments made by Auburn.
To third, out there to first in the dirt, but dug out. 5-3 double play, and just like that, Willis gets a pair, and Auburn's down to their final out.
Well, this is what Sarah Willis does. Throws a drop ball down in the zone, and this time she gets the result she wants, which is a ground ball to feed her defense. And a nice play over there by Humphreys. I mean, the outs are so valuable in this game for UCF. You just feel like it's been so hard for them to come by, mainly because of Sarah Willis. Just some deep pitch counts.
Here is what's at stake with this one. Winner into the winner's bracket game, scheduled 1 Eastern time tomorrow. It's the winner of Chattanooga, Florida State, coming up next year in Tallahassee. After the 20th double play turned by the UCF defense this season, Tigers down to their last out. Top of the order, KK McCrary. Two hits, a sac fly. Weidler is at second, presenting the only base runner now. 15th pitch of the game coming up here for Sarah Willis. That's to the third baseman Humphrey on to first, and UCF with 9 unanswered runs late come back.
With a lot of perseverance, their resilience. They did it with the long ball today. A huge win for UCF.
And there's 6 straight in game 1 in their NCAA regional. Do it for the second.